Hello everybody. It's a cold, crisp, clear morning in January, and we're county listing. In the previous episode I showed you how to plan a trip venturing into a new area, a place you've never been before, to sort of plot out how you're going to get specific birds, in this case for county listing. So one of the places we had spotted on the map was an urban park just to the south of Anniston and Oxford in Calhoun County. That's where we're trying to run up a county list today. And our target was ringneck duck, or maybe other ducks, on this park lake. And unfortunately, as I pull in here, there's no waterfowl at all in that lake. So we're going to have to look for ringneck ducks and other ducks at other places. But it's birdie already this morning. You could hear eastern meadowlark singing behind me as I got started. There's fish crows calling over here. We're in a part of Alabama where fish crow is not necessarily an easy bird. As you go farther south in the state in the winter it is. But okay, we got that on our list: American crow, fish crow, and now we're going to start moving around looking for some other species. Oh, here's a warbler just flew in. I think that was a palm warbler, and we're out of the area where palm warbler would be very easy. So that would be a good county bird for me. So here we go. We're going to see what we can see on this morning. Okay, this is Choccolocco Park. It's just a city park just south of Anniston and Oxford, Alabama, Calhoun County. Remember, we're trying to do county listing, and so that's the concession part of the park. But as we go around, you can probably see that's the lake I was going to, that I did look for ducks at, and didn't have any luck. But there's mowed fields which have meadowlarks, eastern meadowlark in it, and then there's a wood line down here. So we're just gonna take a little walk across the park down to the edge of the woods and back, and see what birds we can get. Okay, we've been walking down this gated road. It's open to pedestrians, but it's closed to pedestrians. Now, this is not a great way to do birds. I know this GoPro, but a big bird came flying by, and I raised my binoculars to see. I thought it might be a red-tailed hawk, which, remember, that's a new county bird, and it turns out it's a adult bald eagle. So that's a nice bird. That's a bird actually I'm not very surprised to see here. There's more bald eagles than there are ducks in this part of Alabama. Anyway, that's a bird I'm glad to get. Since I got out of the car and started walking, 3 ducks flew in. So I thought, oh, maybe that's our ringneck ducks, but it was just mallards. But in this part of Alabama, even wild mallards, not barnyard mallards, but wild mallards, are actually good birds. Okay, we're just making our way along this road, and we're coming to the edge of the more developed, the ball fields and stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see what we get down here. But already I'm getting county birds. So on the edge of the ball fields here, I saw a sparrow. I thought it's probably going to be a song sparrow, and it was a Savannah sparrow. There was actually a little flock of Savannah sparrows. Apparently this is enough of a grassland and edge for them. That's usually a bird you'd find in more of an agricultural field landscape, but they're in ball field areas too. That's a bird that's only in Alabama for the winter. It'll be breeding up in the Midwest in a few months, but here he was. We had the bald eagle. That's a new county bird. We had fish crows calling up here. You may still be able to hear them. You know, fish crow, as opposed to American crow, and that is strictly by voice. American crow, very familiar, caw, caw. And fish crow, very different sound. I can hear one now. I'm not sure it's going to come out on the tape, but you get them by voice, and there's fish crows actually acting like they're courting in this parking lot. We're getting some county birds. Now, one thing that's interesting, among the birds we've seen this morning, the majority of birds are listed on my eBird app as rarely seen. So there's actually a color code of the likely birds, not rare birds, but the birds that have been reported. And no color code means it's a very expected bird on almost all the lists. A half orange circle means that's a bird not on every list, but it's not too surprising. And then if it's got a solid red dot next to it, that's a bird that's not very often recorded in this season in this area. Well, the fact that almost every bird I'm seeing has a red dot next to it doesn't mean I'm the great birder and I'm getting all the rare birds. It means there's almost no list. There's almost no data for eBird to base those lists on. And so if you get a bird with a red dot next to it in Central Park or in the Bay Area, San Francisco, yeah, you're seeing something that's not seen very often. You get a bird with a red dot next to it in Calhoun County, Alabama, your first guess is, geez, there aren't many lists to create a database for this area. A house sparrow, that's one of the birds that's highlighted. You know, if people get out here and bird it, they're going to see a house sparrow. So, okay, let's keep moving along, see what we can get. Okay, we're working along the edge of the ball fields, and now we've come to, this is a creek bottom here at the edge of the park. And we're going to see what we can find down in this habitat. So this is where you would get any number of second growth birds that live in second growth forest, edge birds, and in the winter this is where a lot of the biodiversity exists, is on the sort of a wet wood edge like this. And this is no wilderness, this is the Frisbee golf course trail. So in the summer this would be mowed tighter and would have people out, but in the winter vegetation's come up, and this is winter bird habitat. So let's see what we can get. So it's a little wet here. I've got on just waterproof hiking boots. I don't have on, sometimes I wear rubber boots, but my feet will stay dry. You'll want to alter your birding activities according to, you know, how you prepared, what clothes you're wearing. If you're just out in tennis shoes on a cold morning like this, you wouldn't want to get your feet wet. But I'd recommend generally going out with waterproof shoes on, so you can move around as you need to move around. Okay, I'm continuing on in the park. I'm on that edge of river bottom vegetation, and I heard some anchor birds. If you heard my episode on using a screech owl playback to track birds, I heard a chickadee and titmouse. I didn't even bring my speaker with me, but you could do it just with the speaker and cell phone. So I've now played screech owl, and it's not pulling in an amazing number of birds, but Carolina wren has popped up and is singing in response to the screech owl tape. Chickadee and titmouse came in to check it out, and I had an orange-crowned warbler. Orange-crowned warbler is one of our target birds for the day. And this is exactly where you'd expect to get them, in a green vegetation in a bottomland forest area. So we've had in this spot right here, chickadee, Carolina chickadee, tufted titmouse. We've had pine warbler, orange-crowned warbler, American robin, and ruby-crowned kinglet, and I believe more birds are coming in. I've got a flock of birds that's come in, and added a few birds from what I had when I started. Both kinglets are right in front of me here, golden-crowned kinglet and ruby-crowned kinglet. It's nice to have them side by side. They have the same shape, same size, but they're patterned very differently. Ruby crown, pretty much a plain green bird with an eye ring and a spot of red on the head, and golden crown with an eye stripe and a boldly striped crown that you can very conspicuously see. So orange crown warbler came in close. It's a nice little flock of birds. Okay, well, I spent a lot more time in this park than I expected to. I was just going to jump in and look for ringneck duck, but it was birdie, and I just decided to keep going and walking. And that's how I do my county listing days. I come in with a general plan, sometimes pretty specific plan, but it's a day to be out birding. It's not a day to be looking at the clock and having always the next place to go. It's a day to just move around and explore. It's a place I've never birded before, never been here before, and I'm surprised at a lot of the birds I'm finding. Okay, let's move on. I think we're still going to get ringneck duck this morning, but we're going to have to chase them down. Okay, this is wetland stop 2, lake stop 2. I am literally behind the mall in Oxford. I'm behind Target. The loading dock for Target is right here. So this is, again, not exactly the wilderness. I believe this lake was just made as a runoff retention pond, but it created a little wetland. And ducks have been seen here before. Just there's not a single water bird on this lake. Now we didn't get any water birds, but there's house wren calling, and that's at this in this mountain edge of the mountain area of Alabama. That's not an easy winter bird. We have swamp sparrows calling. It's a day lister. I don't know if that's a new county bird or not, but Calhoun wren singing. So, and we had a song sparrow singing a second ago. So we didn't get our ducks, but we did get some birds. So we're not going to stay here very long. Even though there's some birds, I don't want to do birding behind the mall. Let's move on up and check out that Fink Lake that we spotted on the map, and I think it has good potential for some county birds. Okay, I just arrived at Fink Lake. I'm right across the street from a house and people around. I make a lot of noise, but it's not looking good. I don't really see any waterfowl at all. Oh, but you know what? With binoculars, looking out across the lake, sure enough, there's ringneck ducks over there. There may be some other ducks too. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and put my scope on. And we at least have ringneck ducks though, so we found this on our scouting trip, and we got it. I also just heard and saw a shrike behind the camera here, so that's a nice bird to get here. So let me see what ducks these are. Okay, well this has worked out really well. Oh, and look, here's some more birds coming in. Here's geese. Almost certainly going to be Canada geese right into the sun, but they're going to come over. There were already geese on the lake. And there we've got 10, 22 more geese coming in to join the geese. So not only were there ringneck ducks, they're all on the far shore of the lake. So I'll talk about birding equipment, but a spotting scope is just really useful. I couldn't easily get those birds with binocular. So there's 4 ringneck ducks. That was our target. And then there's 2 ruddy ducks with them. And then as I was watching, a big bird came in, and it's a double-crested cormorant. Now these aren't rare birds, but in Calhoun County, these are hard birds to get because there's no water. It's a mountain area. There's almost no big lakes or places for these birds to be, and so that's what county birding is challenging. You gotta find all the species in a county. Okay, and then the geese just flew over. We had belted kingfisher on the lake, so we're getting all sorts of birds for our day list. But I think some of these will be county birds too. Here's these geese right by the road. Hardly the great wildlife experience, but you know, geese are actually hard to see in some counties in Alabama. I don't have them on a lot of counties where I've actually looked for them. So anyway, these are the giant Canada goose. This is not the geese coming down from the Arctic, almost for sure. These would be resident, either breeding right here in Calhoun County now, or just moving locally. But they're now a part of the avifauna of this part of the country. Okay, in my preview I said we weren't going to target turkeys, we were just going to drive around and look for them, and we have found turkeys. So I don't know how well they're going to show up in this camera, but they're just under these pecan trees in this pasture. Turkeys can be incredibly wary birds, and then sometimes they're just not. It's very weird. There's no doubt these are wild turkeys. Wild turkeys. These aren't anybody's pets. But I was just driving down a fairly busy highway here, Anniston Road, and there was a male fluffed up, full display, and now I see there's a whole flock of turkeys here. So wild turkey, common bird throughout Alabama, can be hard to see, but here they are. It's time is it 9:43 in the morning. See, that one bird's got his head up since I stopped. Not driving around, but they're not very concerned. So anyway, that's a new county bird and a nice one for the day list and a year list bird for me. So there you go, wild turkey. Okay, well, this is likely to be the final leg of our morning Calhoun County count. After this, I may go over to the dam. I can't remember the name of the dam. It's on the Coosa River on the other side of the county. We'll see how my time goes. We started the day with 85 species on my personal Calhoun County list, and we with the wild turkey a few minutes ago we hit 99 species. We are one bird away, and guess what that bird is? It was the #1 easiest bird to get in this county that I hadn't seen, white-breasted nuthatch. So we've left the city and come up into the mountains. Calhoun County is the very southern edge of the Appalachian chain, and these are low mountains here. Cheehaw, just to the south of us, is the highest spot in Alabama, just over 2,000 feet. So there's not a lot of elevation here, but you do get terrain, and you get more of a woodland bird community. So this is a Longleaf Pine National Wildlife Refuge that we've entered. This is interesting because this is the old Fort McClellan. So this is a military base that was decommissioned, and part of the big chunk of the land was turned into a National Wildlife Refuge. And Longleaf Pine, of course, is the dominant pine species through southern forests, mostly in the coastal plain. But there is a sort of a disjunct important population of longleaf pine in these warm southern mountains, and this refuge is sort of centered around that mountain longleaf pine. Okay, let's see, we're after white-breasted nuthatch. There's a closed road right here that I pulled off next to. We're going to walk down that closed road. Closed to vehicles, not closed to pedestrians. We're going to walk down that closed road, listen for our anchor birds, nuthatch, chickadee, titmouse, and when we hear one, we're going to get our tape going, hopefully pull in bird 100, white-breasted nuthatch. We're going to try this again. I've tried a couple times now to get a flock of birds in here in this mountain area. I learned from my my taping the other day not to put the speaker between me and the camera. Duh. I did it wrong, but I think this is better. Chickadee and titmouse have come in, so we got our anchor birds, and now we gotta hope there's a nuthatch or a creeper, some interesting bird. ran over in the creek bottom. Oh, so I hear an interesting bird. You're not going to be able to hear it on camera. I'm sorry that I can't get full capture of the birds, but there is a winter wren. They do a tick, 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 tick. Years ago when I was having trouble learning that sound, a friend of mine said, they sound like your dog. I had a Jack Russell Terrier at the time, and he would bark. Oh, white-breasted nuthatch. I think you're going to be able to hear him. He's going to come in. So we got bird 100 and bird 101, and it seemed dead. This technique will pull birds in when it's dead. See if nuthatch will come right on in. You may be able to hear him on camera now. They have a nasally call, very distinctive. Well, there's our nuthatch, white-breasted nuthatch. He's going to be off camera, but they stay on the trunks of trees like a woodpecker, but unlike a woodpecker, they can go either head first down or tail first up. Either down or up the trunks and branches, and they don't brace themselves with their tail. They just hold on with their feet. So it moves totally differently than a woodpecker. Okay, I think we've got what we're going to get from this spot. But two birds, number 100 and 101 for Calhoun County. So let's keep moving on. I think I'm going to leave this park now and drive for a while. I'm going to go over to this dam. It's kind of on the way home, kind of, sort of. But hydroelectric dam in the winter could have all sorts of stuff. Okay. One of the most fun things about county birding is simply finding new spots. Just as you're driving along or looking at a map, going to a spot that probably nobody's birded before, and finding it really good. I was driving down the highway here, headed towards the hydroelectric dam, and saw waterfowl on this lake. And this is a county without much waterfowl at all, and there's a lot of Canada geese. I thought, oh well, it's all Canada geese. Turns out, nope. There's hooded mergansers with the Canada geese. That's a new county bird for me. And here on the edge of the pond is a great egret. That's not a very common bird up here in the mountain region any time of year, but especially winter. So there we go. Got some really good birds. Okay, well, this wraps up our day of county listing. I'm at Henry Neely Dam, or I'm actually below Henry Neely Dam. This is the Coosa River behind me. And I'm actually now standing in St. Clair County. This is the county border. And that's one thing to really be aware of when you're doing county listing. Make sure you know what county you're in. Interesting, I got out. There's a tree full of birds on the edge of the river down here. I thought it was going to be cormorants. Turns out it's black-crowned night herons. 27 black-crowned night herons. And one black-crowned night heron is a notable bird, is rare. So 27 black-crowned night herons, and one flew into the roost from the Calhoun County side of the river. So I now have that bird in both counties. It had to cross the river to be in both counties. There's also ring-billed gulls here on the rocks down the river. There's great egrets. There's great blue heron. I'm going to look around and see if there's anything else. But after that, I'm going to call it a day and be happy with this really nice birding day. So I hope you're enjoying this this YouTube channel. If you like the content, please check like in the box above, and think about following this channel. I'm also have a Twitter feed about birds, and I have a blog, the Ornithologist blog. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today, and we'll see everybody later. And in the meantime, get out and see some birds.